So to get started on this pattern, over here I have my 6.5mm hook and my category 4 yarn. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a slip knot. And you can do that any way you would like, but just tightening up on my hook. And now we're going to begin working our bottom border. So to work on our bottom border, we're going to make a chain of 9. So to make a chain, you just want to yarn over, pull through. That's one chain. Again, yarn over, pull through. So I have just finished up my chain of 9, and then now just turning my work and beginning it to the second chain from our hook, we're going to be working single crochets. So just inserting my hook into that second chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is one single crochet. Again, inserting my hook into that next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'm just going to work this into each chain across, and by the end you should have a total of 8 stitches. So I have just finished up working across my row with those single crochets, and then now I've made it to the end here. I'm just going to chain 1 and then turn my work, and that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Now beginning into this first stitch, or skipping this first chain, we're going to be working back bar single crochets. So to work a back bar single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into that first stitch, only into that back loop or back bar, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, inserting your hook only into that back bar, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'm just going to work this into each stitch down. So I have just finished up working those back bar single crochets. And then now to continue this pattern, you want to repeat row 2, which is that row we just completed, until you have a total of 50 rows. But I'm just going to work this one more time with you guys to show you what I mean here. So after I get to the end of this row, I'm just going to chain 1, turn my work, and to repeat row 2, once again, skipping this first chain and inserting my hook into this first stitch, we're going to work back bar single crochets into each stitch all the way down. Just like this. And again, you just want to repeat row 2 until you have a total of 50 rows for our bottom border. So I'm going to work that off camera, then I'll meet you back when I'm all done. Okay guys, so I am back here with my work. I just finished up making those 50 rows, and now that our border is all done, we're going to begin on our front panel. So let's get started on that. So to begin on our front panel, we're going to chain 1, and we're just going to be working directly on top of our border here, and you want to treat each row like one stitch. So beginning into this first row, we're going to work a single crochet, just like that. And then now into the next row, again just working a single crochet, and then into the next row. And as you can see here, you just want to work each row like one stitch, and you should have a total of 50 stitches by the end of this foundation row. So guys, I am back here with my work. I worked all the way down here with those single crochets, and again you should have a total of 50 stitches. And then now once I reach the end here, I'm just going to chain 1 and then turn my work around. Now beginning into this first stitch, we're going to be working single crochets all the way back down our row. We're not going to be doing anything fancy, just working all the way down our row with these single crochets. Okay guys, so I am back here again with that second round, and now to continue this pattern you want to continue repeating row 2 until you have a total of 38 rows for our front panel. So I'm going to go off camera, work that up really quickly, then I'm going to meet you back when I'm all done. Okay guys, so I am back here with my 38 rows as you can see, and now that is all done, we're going to be working on the shoulder strap over here. So let's just get started on that. So now we're going to get started on the shoulder strap to our work, and as you can see I've already chained and then turned my work. And then now beginning into this first stitch, we're going to be working single crochets, but only into 18 stitches across our work. So I have just finished up working 18 stitches across this row. And then now, as always, we're just going to chain 1 and then turn our work around. So now beginning into this first stitch, we're going to be working a decrease. So to work a decrease, I'm going to insert my hook into this first stitch, yarn over, pull up some yarn, into the next stitch, pull up some yarn. You should have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over, pull through 3. And that's how we're going to be working the decreases. So now we're just going to be working those single crochets into each stitch across our row. And because we did a decrease this row, you should have 17 stitches now. So I have just finished working all the way across, and just to review row 2, we did a decrease into the first stitch and then we went all the way across our row. So as always, I'm just going to chain 1 and then flip our work around, and that completes our first repeat row. So now beginning onto the next row, beginning into this first stitch, we're just going to be working single crochets into each stitch all the way down. We're not going to be doing anything fancy, we're just going to be working all the way down here. So I have just finished working all the way down my row, and now to continue our pattern you want to repeat row 2 and row 3 of our work here until you have a total of 8 rows. But I'm just going to work one more row just to show you what I mean. So I'm just going to chain 1 and then turn my work around. And then now, just like last time, beginning into this first stitch we're going to work a decrease. So I'm going to insert my hook, pull up, and then insert my hook into the next stitch, and then pull up, and then yarn over, pull through 3. And then now after working a decrease into that first stitch, we're just going to work all the way down our row after. And so I just made it all the way across my row here. And just to remind you again, you want to continue repeating row 2 and row 3 until you have a total of 8 rows. So I'm going to work that up really quickly, then I'll meet you back when I'm all done. Alrighty guys, so I just finished up our little shoulder section. As you can see here, I have 8 rows over here. So now that's all done, we have to do the same thing to the other side. So let's just get started on that. So what I did over here is that I skipped 14 stitches from the first stitch here, so 14 stitches, and then I inserted my hook into that 15th stitch, as you can see. So after you have inserted your hook into that 15th stitch, I'm going to yarn over and then pull through, just like that. Now I'm going to chain 1, then I'm just going to turn my work around here. So now beginning into this first stitch over here, we're going to work single crochets all the way down, and you should have a total of 18 stitches once you reach the end. But just starting into this first stitch, just working these single crochets. So I have just worked all the way down my row, and again you should have a total of 18 stitches once you reach the end. And then now, as usual, we're just going to chain 1 and then turn our work around. Now just beginning into this first stitch, we're just basically going to repeat that same row we already did. Beginning into this first stitch, we're just going to be working single crochets all the way down. So I have just finished working all the way down my row, and that is our first repeat row, so just keep that in mind. And then now once I get to the end, I'm just going to chain 1 and then turn my work around. And now this is going to be very similar to the other side that we completed. Beginning into this first stitch over here, we're going to be working a decrease. So I'm just going to insert my hook into that first stitch, yarn over, second stitch, yarn over, and then pull through 3, just like that. And just as usual, I'm just going to work all the way down my row again. So I just finished working down that row, as you can see, and into that first stitch, just keep in mind that we did a decrease. So now to continue this pattern, you just want to repeat row 3 and row 4 until you have a total of 9 rows. So I'm going to go off camera, work that up, then I'm going to meet you back when I'm all done. Okay guys, so I am back here with my work. I just finished up completing my other shoulder strap. I have a total of 9 rows. And then now that would complete our entire front panel. And because our front and back panels are the same, you have to repeat this entire process one other time to make a second panel. So over here, I have already completed that work. I have made a second panel. And then after you have that, we're now going to begin on the seaming. So let's just get started on that. So to work this seaming up, we're going to seam these 2 shoulder straps together. So I'm just going to insert my hook into the corner right over here, and then just seam using slip stitches or single crochets just as you normally would. Then of course you want to do that on this side as well. And then after you have those 2 shoulder straps all done, we're going to move to the side, and then beginning into this corner right over here, we're going to seam again using slip stitches or single crochets until you have 7.5 inches from the top unseamed, and that's going to leave room for our sleeve. And then of course you want to do that to the other side as well, just seaming all the way up this side here, leaving 7.5 inches from the top unseamed. So I want to work that off really quickly. Then I'm going to meet you back when I'm all done. Alrighty guys, so I am back here with my work all seamed up, and then once I finish both the sides and the shoulder straps here, all I did was just turn my entire work inside out to hide all of the seams. And then now that's all done, we're going to be moving on to the sleeves over here. So let's just get started on that. So to get started on our armhole over here, I have my hook and I'm just going to slip stitch this into the seam of our work. I'm just going to insert my hook into that seam and then just yarn over and then just pulling straight through everything, just like that. So now I'm going to chain one to begin this row, and we're going to be working a foundation row all the way around our armhole here just to start off. So you want to treat each row like one stitch. So just beginning it to this first stitch, I'm going to be working a single crochet, then a single crochet into the next stitch, and then again you just want to treat each row like one stitch, and I'm just going to be working this all the way around my row. So guys, I am back here with my work. I work single crochets all the way around here. As you can see, and the number of stitches is not exact. Again, you just want to treat each row like one stitch. The only thing is that you want to make sure that the number of stitches you have is an even number. But once you have finished working all the way around, to connect this row, I'm just going to slip stitch my hook right into that first stitch, just to connect it like that. So now we're going to make a chain of 61. So I have just finished my chain of 61. Then now beginning into the second chain from our hook, or skipping this first chain, we're going to be working half double crochets into each. So to work a half double crochet, just want to yarn over, insert your hook into that chain, second chain, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 3. One more time, yarn over, insert your hook into that next chain, pull through, and then pull through 3. Then I'm just going to work these half double crochets into each chain all the way down. Alrighty guys, so I am back here with my work. I just finished up working down my chain with those half double crochets, and you should have 60 stitches in total. And then now to connect, we have to slip stitch up 2 on the side. So to do that, I'm just going to slip stitch up this first stitch and then into the next stitch, just like that. And as you can see, we've kind of connected this row. So now I'm just going to turn my work, and then beginning into the third stitch, so skipping these first 2 slip stitches that we made and inserting my hook into that third stitch, we're going to be working half double crochets. So again, just inserting my hook into that third stitch and then working half double crochets all the way down here. So I am back here with my work. I just worked all the way down my row again with those half double crochets, and that completes our first repeat row. But then once you just get to the end here, I'm just going to chain one and then turn my work around. Now moving on to row 3, beginning into this first stitch, we're just going to be working half double crochets into each stitch all the way down. Alrighty guys, so I am back here with my work. I worked all the way back down here. And then now we're going to connect it in the same way that we did before. We're going to be slip stitching up 2. That's 1. And then here is 2. And then turning our work. And as you can see, that kind of connects it. So that finishes up our third row, which is our second repeat row. So now to continue this pattern, you want to repeat row 2 and row 3 until you have worked all the way around your sleeve here. So that would just be turning your work, beginning into that third stitch, and then just working all the way down would be the next row. But I'm going to work this sleeve coming all the way around here, then I'm going to meet you back for the cuff. Okay guys, so I am back here with my work. I worked all the way around my little armhole here, as you can see, and then now we just need to seam up our sleeve. And to do that, it is really simple. I'm going to turn my entire sleeve inside out, and then just using my hook right here, I'm just going to seam those 2 panels together. Then I'm going to turn my work back side out. But I'm just going to seam all the way along this edge really quickly. Then I'm going to meet you back with the cuff. Alrighty guys, so I am back here with my work. I just finished up seaming everything up, and then now our main section is all done. We're going to get started on the cuff over here. So let's get started on that. So to go ahead and get started on our cuff over here, I'm just going to insert my hook right into the seam. Then I'm just going to slip stitch to secure, just like that. And now we're going to be working a foundation row of single crochets just to get this started. So to do that, I'm just going to chain 1, and then beginning into this first stitch, we're going to work a single crochet. And similarly to how we began the sleeve, you're just going to work single crochets into each row. Again, you just want to treat each row like 1 stitch, just as I am doing here. So guys, I am back here with my work once again. I just finished up working all the way around here, and then once I made it to the end, I'm just going to slip stitch into this first stitch to join like that. So that was really easy. So now I'm just going to chain 1 and then turn my work around. And then beginning into this first stitch over here, we're going to be working decreases into each stitch. So again, just to work a decrease, I'm going to insert my hook into that very first stitch, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. And again, you just want to work these decreases all the way around. So I'm going to insert my hook, pull up a loop, insert my hook, pull up a loop, pull through 3. One more time, insert my hook, pull up a loop, insert my hook, pull up a loop, and then pull through 3. Just like that. I'm going to finish working this all the way around my work here. Alright guys, so I am back here with that decrease row, as you can see. And then once I make it to the end here, I'm just going to slip stitch into this first stitch to join, just as you normally would. And that completes our decrease row. So now we're going to make a chain of 9. And then after you have finished your chain of 9, beginning into the second chain from your hook, we're just going to be working single crochets into each chain all the way down. And then after you have worked those single crochets into each stitch, we're going to connect this to our sleeve here. So we're going to slip stitch up 2 on the side just to connect this row. Just like that. So I just slip stitched up 2 on the side. And then now I'm going to turn my work. And then now beginning into the third stitch from my hook, so skipping these first 2 stitches, inserting my hook into that third stitch, we're going to be working back bar single crochets. Just like that, and I'm going to work this all the way down here. And so I just finished up that row of back bar single crochets. Then once I get to the end, I'm just going to chain 1 and then turn my work, and that row does complete our first repeat row. And then now beginning into this first stitch over here, we're just going to go all the way back down our row with these back bar single crochets. And so I just worked all the way back down my row here, and then just like last time, I just want to slip stitch up 2 to connect this row. Very similar to what we did to our sleeve. Just like that, and you can kind of see now it is connected. So you probably guessed it, you just want to repeat row 2 and row 3 until you have worked all the way around your cuff here. So I'm going to work that up really quickly off camera, then I'm going to meet you back when I am all done. Alrighty guys, so I am back here with my little cuff, as you can see, and then now you probably guessed it, we just need to seam up these 2 edges over here. And to do that, it is really simple. I'm just going to turn my sleeve inside out, then I'm just going to work down the side here with single crochets or slip stitches, and then I'm going to cut and tie off. So I'm going to work that up really quickly, then I'll meet you back shortly. Okay guys, so I am back here with my cuff all seamed up, and then now that completes our entire sleeve. And then once this sleeve is done, you of course want to repeat that same process for the other side of our work, which I have already finished working up on the other side. So now that is all done, we're going to begin on the collar over here, and this is going to be the last step to our project. So let's just get started on this. So just to get started on the collar over here, I'm going to quickly go ahead and make a slip knot. Just like that. And then now we're going to make a chain of 6. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Then now beginning into the second chain from our hook, we're going to be working single crochets into each chain all the way down. And by the end of this, you should have 5 stitches in total. But I'm almost at the end here. That is row 1. Then as usual, I'm just going to chain 1, turn my work. Now skipping this first chain, or inserting my hook into this first stitch, we're going to be working back bar single crochets, and you should always have 5 stitches in total. But as you can see, I'm only working into those back bars. And then here's the last stitch. So that was row 2, and just to continue this pattern over here, you want to repeat row 2 until your strap here is 17 inches long. But I'm just going to show you how to do this row one more time. I'm going to chain 1, turn my work into this first stitch. I'm going to work back bar single crochets into each stitch all the way down. Just like that, and just keep on repeating those rows of back bar single crochets until your border is 17 inches long. So I'm going to be back here with my row count, and I'll show you the next steps. Okay guys, so I ended up doing a total of 58 rows, and this is 17 inches long. So then now that our border is all done, we're going to be working on connecting it to the side here. But I'm just going to grab 4 stitch markers, and then I'm going to work this around here, and I'll just meet you back to show you where to put the stitch markers. Alrighty guys, so I am back here with my stitch markers. So if you can see these 4 points, there's 2 in the front and then 2 in the back. All I did was just put some stitch markers in to here, 2 right here, and then 2 green ones on the other side. And I say stitch markers, but they're just paper clips obviously. But now that is all done, we can actually begin on the seaming. So just to begin on the seaming here, I have my tapestry needle. And just to begin this, I'm going to seam together these 2 pieces right over here. So I'm just going to insert my needle, and then I'm just going to seam this together going back and forth. So I have just finished up seaming this little section over here. And then now that is done, I'm just going to begin on the back here. So I'm just going to go through the top and then straight, sorry there's a lot of string around here, but just putting it through the stitch right in the back. Just like that. And then now that you have that started, you're just going to continue going back and forth just like this, going all the way around your border. So I'm just going to do this a few more times with you guys. So just like this, as you can see, I have just seamed it up in the back here, and again, you just want to go all the way around your border here, just seaming this collar just as you normally would. But I'm going to go off camera, finish up this seaming, and then I will meet you back when I am all done. Alrighty guys, so I am back here with my border all seamed up. I worked right over here, came all the way around, and then once I got to the end, of course, I just cut and then tied off, and this is what it is looking like. Really nice. And then after you have completed your collar, you're actually all done with the project. The only thing left to do is just weave in all of your loose ends. But yeah, after you're done with that, your puff sleeve sweater is all done. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this one. If you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel for more content. If you bought this pattern, it would be very helpful if you left a positive review on my Etsy shop. Thank you guys so much for watching.